There was once a kingdom so wealthy, so influential, and so advanced that ancient civilizations called it Arabia Felix, the Happy Arabia. Not because its people never suffered, but because this land possessed something the rest of Arabia desperately needed: water, trade, and unimaginable wealth. Today, when most people hear the name Yemen, they think of war, humanitarian crises, and a nation struggling to survive. But thousands of years ago, this very land was one of the greatest civilizations in the ancient world. Its cities flourished, while much of the Arabian Peninsula remained harsh and unforgiving. Its merchants connected Africa, Asia, and the Mediterranean. Its engineers built structures so extraordinary that some still puzzle historians today. So, what happened? How did one of history's richest kingdoms become one of its most misunderstood countries? The answer begins long before oil, long before modern borders. At first glance, Yemen seems like an unlikely place for a civilization to flourish. Towering mountains divide the landscape. Endless deserts stretch toward the horizon. Rainfall is scarce, and much of the surrounding Arabian Peninsula has always been one of the driest places on Earth. Yet geography gave Yemen one extraordinary advantage: seasonal monsoon winds. Unlike much of Arabia, Yemen's highlands received enough rainfall to support agriculture. Terraces carved into steep mountains transformed impossible landscapes into fertile farmland. Generation after generation, people reshaped entire mountainsides by hand. Not for beauty, but for survival. Even today, many of those ancient terraces remain, a silent reminder that determination can sometimes change geography itself. But here's where the story becomes truly extraordinary. Water alone could never make Yemen wealthy. Something far more valuable was hidden within these mountains: frankincense and myrrh. Today, they may seem like little more than fragrant tree resins, but more than 2,000 years ago, they were among the most valuable commodities on Earth. Kings desired them. Temples burned them during sacred ceremonies. Empires paid enormous fortunes to obtain them. Caravans carrying these precious goods crossed deserts for thousands of kilometers. And almost every route passed through Yemen. Suddenly, this remote corner of Arabia became one of the world's most important trading crossroads. Its markets prospered, its cities expanded, its rulers grew immensely powerful. Sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't gold. They're the things the world cannot live without. As trade flourished, one kingdom rose above all the others: the Kingdom of Saba. Perhaps you've heard another name: the Kingdom of Sheba. A civilization surrounded by mystery, legends, and astonishing achievements. Ancient inscriptions describe prosperous cities, sophisticated irrigation systems, and rulers who controlled trade across vast distances. But one story elevated Saba beyond history itself. According to ancient traditions, its queen traveled hundreds of kilometers to meet one of history's wisest rulers, King Solomon. Whether every detail belongs to history or legend, the story reveals something important. The kingdom of Saba had become famous far beyond Arabia. Its influence reached lands separated by deserts, mountains, and seas. Very few kingdoms achieved such recognition. Yemen had become a place the ancient world could not ignore. But Yemen's greatest achievement wasn't its wealth or its legendary queen. It was an engineering masterpiece, so extraordinary that when it finally collapsed, it changed the destiny of an entire civilization. And what happened next would transform Yemen forever. There are moments in history when the fate of an entire civilization depends on a single structure. For Yemen, that structure was the Great Dam of Marib. It wasn't the tallest monument of the ancient world. It wasn't covered in gold. Nor was it built to impress distant kingdoms. Its purpose was far more important. It gave life. For centuries, fields that should have been barren turned green. Harvest after harvest, the kingdom prospered. Cities expanded. Trade flourished. And Yemen became one of the wealthiest lands in Arabia. Some historians even describe the Marib Dam as one of the greatest engineering achievements of the ancient world. Because without it, none of Yemen's prosperity would have been possible. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. The greatest civilizations rarely disappear overnight. They fade, one crack at a time. For generations, the dam was carefully maintained. Each ruler understood one simple truth: protect the water, and you protect the kingdom. But history has a way of testing every civilization. As political power weakened, maintaining such an enormous structure became increasingly difficult. Small cracks appeared. Repairs became less frequent. The system that had supported millions for centuries slowly began to fail. Then, according to historical traditions and archaeological evidence, the dam suffered catastrophic failures. The fertile valleys flooded, irrigation channels collapsed. Fields that had once fed entire communities could no longer sustain them. And almost overnight, the kingdom's greatest strength became its greatest vulnerability. But losing the dam wasn't the end of Yemen's story. It was the beginning of a journey that would reshape the entire Arabian Peninsula. As agriculture declined, many tribes made a decision that would change history forever. They left. Some traveled north. Others settled across different parts of Arabia. Generation after generation, their descendants established new communities far beyond Yemen's mountains. Historians believe these migrations influenced the development of several important Arab tribes. In other words, Yemen didn't simply lose its people, it helped shape the future of the Arab world. Sometimes, the greatest influence of a civilization isn't found in the place it leaves behind. It's found in the places its people eventually call home. Centuries later, another transformation arrived. This time, not by land, but by sea. Yemen's location had always been extraordinary. Standing at the southern entrance of the Red Sea, it overlooked one of the world's most important maritime gateways. Every ship sailing between the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean passed nearby. Merchants from Africa, India, Persia, and later Europe all crossed these waters. Once again, Yemen became a bridge between civilizations. Its ports welcomed spices, coffee, textiles, and ideas from across the known world. In fact, one of the world's most famous drinks owes part of its story to this land. Coffee, for centuries, the port city of Mocha became the center of the global coffee trade. So famous that even today, the word mocha is recognized around the world. Long before coffee shops filled modern cities, ships loaded with Yemeni coffee were already crossing the seas. But history was changing once again. New empires emerged. New trade routes appeared. Power slowly shifted toward the oceans. And the world that had once made Yemen prosperous was no longer the same. Travel through the highlands, and ancient farming terraces still cling to impossible slopes. Visit Marib, and the remains of a forgotten kingdom still whisper stories of an age when Yemen stood among the greatest civilizations on Earth. Perhaps that's the lesson hidden within Yemen's history. Most people know Yemen because of its modern struggles. But a nation's story should never be measured by only one chapter. Long before today's headlines, this land built kingdoms, connected continents, mastered engineering, expanded global trade, and helped shape the history of Arabia itself. In our next documentary, we'll uncover another forgotten civilization whose story changed the course of history in ways few people realize.